Hi guys, welcome back to Flick Finesse. Today's list brings you 11 must-watch thriller films, all streaming in 2025 across Netflix, Prime Video, Paramount Plus, and Tubi. Some of these you may have already watched, but we're sure everyone will discover at least one hidden gem worth adding to their watch list. Share your go-to thrillers in the comments. We're always looking for new recommendations, and your pick might just show up in one of our future countdowns. Now let's dive straight into the list. Number 11. Eenie Meanie. Directed by Sean Simmons, Eenie Meanie is a slick, fast-paced heist comedy thriller that mixes stylish car chases with darkly comic undertones. The story follows Eddie, a skilled getaway driver who reluctantly teams up with a former partner for one last job that quickly spirals out of control. What begins as a high-energy caper takes unexpected turns, balancing frantic escapes with simmering tension between the characters. Beneath the glossy action sequences lies a thread of betrayal and regret, hinting at deeper emotional currents, even as the film leans on familiar tropes. Samara Weaving leads the film with charisma and grit, carrying much of the energy through her performance. Her mix of toughness and vulnerability makes Jackie compelling even when the script offers little depth. Carl Glusman adds a contrasting presence as her conflicted partner, while the supporting cast fleshes out the world of double crosses and uneasy alliances. Cinematically stylish and at times exhilarating, Eenie Meanie succeeds best when it embraces its kinetic energy. Number 10. The Calendar Killer. Directed by Adolfo J. Kolmerer, The Calendar Killer is a dark and atmospheric German thriller that blends psychological tension with a chilling meditation on trauma, abuse, and survival. The story follows Clara, a desperate mother whose life is shattered by the threat of a mysterious figure known as the Calendar Killer. Forced into an impossible choice, kill her abusive husband or face death herself, she reaches out to Jules, a night shift helpline operator who becomes her fragile lifeline. As the narrative unfolds, their bond deepens, while the looming presence of violence casts a shadow over every decision, raising questions of morality, trust, and the lengths one will go to survive. Louise Heyer delivers a raw and haunting performance as Clara, portraying her vulnerability and quiet strength with remarkable authenticity. Sabine Tambrea provides a nuanced counterbalance as Jules, capturing both his empathy and the ghosts of his own past. Moody and claustrophobic in its visual design, The Calendar Killer thrives on atmosphere more than spectacle. Number 9. A Day and a Half. Directed by Fares Fares, A Day and a Half is a grounded and tightly wound thriller that fuses raw human drama with the nerve-wracking tension of a hostage scenario. The film follows Arton, a desperate man who storms into a health clinic with a gun and takes his estranged wife Louise hostage, demanding answers and a chance to see his daughter. With police officer Lucas reluctantly drawn in as their driver, the three set off on a tense road trip across Sweden. What unfolds is less about the chase itself and more about the simmering emotions between people bound together by pain, regret, and unresolved love. Alexei Manvilov brings both volatility and aching vulnerability to Arton, while Alma Poisty's portrayal of Louise is quietly devastating, filled with resilience and sorrow. Fares Fares himself embodies Lucas with weary compassion, grounding the chaos with a moral center. Their interplay gives the film its emotional heartbeat, transforming what could have been a straightforward thriller into a study of fractured relationships. Bleak yet deeply human, A Day and a Half avoids action spectacle in favor of intimacy and character-driven suspense. It's a slow-burning thriller where the real stakes are emotional rather than physical, making it both tense and unexpectedly poignant, a striking debut that lingers long after the credits roll. Number 8. Final Score. Directed by Scott Mann, Final Score is a muscular and unabashedly pulpy action thriller that fuses relentless spectacle with the familiar beats of a die-hard-style siege movie. The film centers on Michael Knox, a former soldier who takes his niece to a West Ham United football match, only to find the stadium overtaken by heavily armed terrorists. With 35,000 lives at stake and time running out, Knox is forced to navigate the massive arena, outwit the mercenaries, and stop a catastrophic plan, all while trying to protect the only family he has left. Dave Bautista anchors the film with a commanding screen presence, blending brute force with surprising warmth. His physicality makes the action sequences visceral, while his quieter moments reveal a wounded veteran's humanity. He's supported by Pierce Brosnan, lending gravitas in a pivotal role, and Ray Stevenson, who brings menace and charisma as the ruthless villain. Explosive, fast-paced, and unashamedly crowd-pleasing, Final Score doesn't strive for originality so much as it embraces its genre roots. It thrives on sheer adrenaline and straightforward storytelling, offering a tight, entertaining ride that action fans will find both familiar and satisfying. Number 7. Paranormal Activity. Directed by Oren Peli, Paranormal Activity is a stripped-down and unnerving supernatural thriller that fuses domestic intimacy with creeping terror and psychological dread. The film centers on Katie and Micah, a young couple who begin recording their lives after Katie confesses to being haunted by an unseen force since childhood. What starts as an experiment in documenting strange noises and shadows quickly escalates into a terrifying ordeal as their suburban home becomes the stage for increasingly violent and inexplicable phenomena. Katie Featherston delivers a vulnerable, emotionally raw performance that grounds the horror in believability, while Micah Sloat plays the skeptic whose curiosity and recklessness fuel the tension. Their natural, improvisational chemistry makes the unfolding nightmare feel disturbingly real, amplifying the sense that we are witnessing something deeply personal unravel on screen. It's a slow-burning thriller that tests the power of imagination and lingers long after the final shot, proving that true terror can come from the quiet corners of everyday life. Number 6. The Collector. Directed by Marcus Dunstan, The Collector is a grim and claustrophobic horror thriller that fuses home invasion suspense with sadistic survival horror. The film centers on Arkin, an ex-con who breaks into a wealthy family's house to steal a valuable gem, only to discover that a far more dangerous intruder has already laid claim to the home. Inside, a masked psychopath, known only as the Collector, has transformed the house into a deadly labyrinth, rigged with elaborate traps designed to torture and kill. What begins as a robbery quickly spirals into a desperate fight for survival, as Arkin must navigate the horrors within and find a way out before it's too late. Josh Stewart anchors the film with a raw, desperate performance as Arkin, capturing both his criminal edge and reluctant humanity. His every decision feels like a gamble for survival, and his gritty determination makes him a compelling and sympathetic protagonist. The masked villain, played by Juan Fernandez, exudes menace with silent precision, embodying a predator who thrives on cruelty and control. Atmospherically dark and relentlessly tense, The Collector thrives on mood, gore, and nerve-shredding suspense. While its brutality may not be for everyone, it delivers a uniquely vicious take on the cat-and-mouse thriller, appealing to fans of horror who prefer their scares soaked in dread, blood, and sadistic ingenuity. Number 5. Bordertown. Directed by Gregory Nava, Bordertown is a sobering and politically charged crime thriller that fuses investigative suspense with a harrowing look at systemic violence and corruption along the US-Mexico border. The film centers on Lauren Adrian, a driven Chicago journalist sent to Ciudad Juarez to report on a string of brutal murders targeting young women working in local factories. As she delves deeper, Lauren uncovers a tangled web of corporate greed, political indifference, and organized crime, all feeding a cycle of exploitation and silence. Her pursuit of truth not only puts her life in danger but also forces her to confront her own past and the moral cost of seeking justice. Jennifer Lopez anchors the story with a determined and emotionally charged performance, capturing Lauren's mix of vulnerability and fiery conviction. Antonio Banderas provides a nuanced turn as Diaz, a local newspaper editor torn between integrity and survival, while Martin Sheen lends weight as her American employer, embodying the institutional complacency she struggles against. Unflinching in its subject matter, Bordertown thrives less on conventional thrills than on its raw, socially conscious storytelling. It's a thriller that seeks not just to entertain, but to provoke outrage, awareness, and empathy. Number 4. Novocaine. Directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson, Novocaine is a violent and offbeat action thriller that fuses dark comedy with body horror intensity, turning a high-concept premise into a blood-soaked meditation on resilience and obsession. The film centers on Nate Kane, a timid bank clerk born with a rare condition that prevents him from feeling pain. His ordinary life collapses after a brutal robbery leaves the woman he loves kidnapped. Armed with nothing but his unusual condition, Nate launches into a relentless mission to rescue her, enduring gunfire, broken bones, and unimaginable punishment as he transforms from passive bystander to unstoppable avenger. Jack Quaid delivers a riveting performance as Nate, capturing both the vulnerability of a man desperate for connection and the chilling determination of someone who literally can't stop, no matter the damage inflicted. Amber Midthunder brings depth and emotional gravity as Sherry, while supporting turns from Ray Nicholson, Jacob Batalon, and Betty Gabriel add texture and unpredictability, keeping the film's balance between humor, violence, and humanity intact. Boldly staged and unapologetically brutal, Novocaine doesn't rely on conventional heroics. It thrives on its outrageous concept and the uneasy laughter that emerges from its extremes. Fans of daring, genre-bending thrillers will find it sharp, shocking, and unforgettable. Number 3. The Stepfather. Directed by Joseph Rubin, The Stepfather is a chilling suburban thriller that fuses psychological horror with domestic suspense, exposing the dangers lurking beneath the facade of the perfect American family. The film centers on Jerry Blake, a seemingly charming man who appears to embody the ideal stepfather, kind, attentive, and committed to family values. But beneath his wholesome exterior lies a deranged psychopath obsessed with achieving the perfect family. When his new teenage stepdaughter begins to suspect his too-good-to-be-true persona, the cracks in Jerry's carefully constructed life begin to show, leading to a slow, terrifying unraveling. Terry O'Quinn delivers a career-defining performance as Jerry, playing him with a disarming mix of warmth and menace. His ability to shift from affable father figure to cold-blooded killer is both riveting and deeply unsettling. Jill Sheehan shines as the suspicious stepdaughter, bringing emotional authenticity and quiet resilience, while Shelley Hack adds nuance as the unsuspecting wife caught in the middle. Its chilling exploration of identity, obsession, and the dark side of the nuclear family still resonates decades later, cementing it as a cult classic in the thriller horror genre. Number 2. Body of Lies. Directed by Ridley Scott, Body of Lies is a taut and morally complex spy thriller that fuses high-stakes espionage with a penetrating look at deception, trust, and betrayal in the modern war on terror. The film centers on Roger Ferris, a battle-hardened CIA operative navigating the volatile terrain of the Middle East in pursuit of a powerful terrorist leader. Caught between the manipulative oversight of his superior, Ed Hoffman, and the calculated precision of Jordan intelligence chief Hani Salam, Ferris becomes ensnared in a dangerous web of double crosses. As he risks his life in the field, he must grapple with shifting loyalties and the harsh realization that truth is often as elusive as the enemy he hunts. Leonardo DiCaprio delivers an intense and deeply nuanced performance as Ferris, portraying a man torn between his professional duty and moral compass. Russell Crowe contrasts him sharply as Hoffman, whose cold detachment and strategic manipulation highlight the dehumanizing nature of intelligence work. Mark Strong, as Hani Salam, emerges as the film's most magnetic presence, bringing elegance and menace to a character who is as enigmatic as he is commanding. Stylishly shot and intricately constructed, Body of Lies avoids simple heroics in favor of moral ambiguity and psychological tension. Number 1. The Departed. Directed by Martin Scorsese, The Departed is a gritty and sharply constructed crime thriller that fuses undercover intrigue with a harrowing exploration of identity, loyalty, and betrayal. Rooted in Scorsese's trademark intensity, it's a film where every choice carries fatal weight. The story follows Billy Costigan, a rookie cop tasked with infiltrating Boston's Irish mob, and Colin Sullivan, a criminal who has secretly embedded himself within the state police. As both men live dangerously double lives, their paths edge closer to collision, with each trying to expose the other before being discovered themselves. The tension mounts with every move, leading to a violent, shocking finale that spares no one. Leonardo DiCaprio delivers a raw and restless performance as Costigan, embodying a man unraveling under constant strain. Matt Damon matches him with an equally compelling turn as Sullivan, whose charm conceals ruthless ambition. Jack Nicholson dominates as mob boss Frank Costello, relishing the role's unpredictability and menace, while Mark Wahlberg adds ferocity and bite in a memorable supporting role. Tautly directed and relentlessly paced, The Departed thrives on its razor-sharp dialogue, layered plotting, and psychological tension. Scorsese crafts a thriller that is as much about fractured identities as it is about crime, cementing it as one of the most gripping and influential films of its era.